next pandemic could be 20 times deadlier than coronavirus. The new pandemic, dubbed Disease X by the World Health Organization (WHO), might already be on its way and could take 50 million lives. Scientists have identified 25 virus families containing thousands of individual viruses. But still, there are millions of other viruses yet to be discovered. So what is Disease X? According to WHO, Disease X could be caused by a pathogen X. It can be a virus, a bacterium, or a fungus with a high infectious and fatality rate and without any known treatments. WHO also believes that it could be related to a zoonotic disease that jumps to humans and further mutates severely.
Is the bird flu disease X? That's the question everyone is asking, as the CDC has issued a health advisory for the H5N1 bird flu that was detected in Texas after a cattle rancher apparently caught the illness. The main symptom was conjunctivitis, or, pink eye. Now, this is the start of a brand new plandemic just in time for another Biden versus Trump election year showdown. According to our friend Dr. Peter McCullough, there is a dark history between gain-of-function research and the H5N1 virus. Specifically, in late 2011, the Foundation for Vaccine Research issued a call to end all gain-of-function research into the bird flu, labeling it, quote, morally and ethically wrong, as was discussed yesterday with Brandon J. Weichert. The Obama administration even put a moratorium on all taxpayer-funded gain-of-function research during Obama's second term. That moratorium ended in the first year of the Trump administration. As it turns out, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation was a major funder of the gain-of-function research into basically weaponizing the bird flu strain a decade ago. And joining us now is Dr. Peter McCullough. Dr. McCullough is an internist, cardiologist, epidemiologist, and of course, you all know him as a tireless defender of our medical freedoms in the face of medical security state tyranny. So it's good to talk to you again today. And I'm very interested in what you have to say about this, because I played that video at the top, right, discussing what could be disease X. And in so many ways, and what we're hearing them say from the CDC level, right, the federal health policy level of our government, sounds a lot like they're making the case for H5N1 to be disease X. Your thoughts?
Recall we had national public health emergencies for COVID-19. We've also had that for monkeypox. And you're right, Emerald, it looks like it's game on for H5N1, what's called highly pathogenic avian influenza. This is now, I think, a fear-driven campaign of unbelievable proportions. In 2021, Gavi, the Global Vaccine Alliance, said that bird flu will be the next pandemic. CEPI, the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovation by the Gates Foundation and WEF, they formed CEPI. CEPI is working on a self-amplifying messenger RNA vaccine with a Korean group. And now we have Thermo Fisher distributing PCR testing of animals. Now, remember, bird flu has been around for decades. We've had thousands of cases of animals with bird flu. They feel sick for a few days. They recover. The flocks are simply monitored. Now, for the first time, there is a human case. A man in West Texas around Amarillo has conjunctivitis. That's it. And yesterday was the order by Sid Miller, the ag commissioner in Texas, to slaughter millions of chickens. So, the casualty of the bird flu epidemic is going to be unnecessary slaughter of poultry and meat.
And allegedly, it's only really jumped to one human, right? And I talked about the history of the attempt to weaponize bird flu. I gave a little bit of that, of which we learned some from you, right? The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation being involved in that. How will we know? I think so many people are worried about what they might throw at us next, especially now that we know even more about the COVID oranges, right? With more documents released to Rand Paul confirming what we knew about 2018 and the NIAID funding and Fauci's role in this that showed they were creating this virus, right? The COVID pandemic. People constantly ask me, what are they going to throw at us next? How will we know if this is some weaponized strain that they had worked on with the intention of creating another pandemic.
Well, if the gain-of-function research has been done on avian flu like we suspect it could have been done, well, we'll start to see more human cases and then human-to-human transmission. And let's hope it doesn't happen. There's been roughly 800 cases over the decades. There have been several hundred fatalities. Most of these have been in countries where there's not much in the way of healthcare, people presenting very late. There's been deaths in 23 countries due to bird flu. The cases that I reviewed, published in the New England Journal of Medicine in 2005, presented very late, looked like they died of a staphylococcal infection. I can tell you we're getting ready. We have preclinical data showing that dilute iodine nasal sprays and gargles works fine in killing the virus. The preclinical studies show that. And that the majority of cases, if humans get sick, would respond to Tamiflu or one of the other 3 influenza drugs that are currently FDA approved. And the CDC has that on their website.
I saw one headline last week, and I discussed this a little bit with another doctor we had on earlier in the week. The Daily Mail suggesting that with the strain of this bird flu virus, that 50% of people who contract it might die of it. I mean, that's a lot of what we saw in the COVID pandemic fear mongering, back in 2020. So I just wonder, right now it seems so insignificant. It seems to me like this couldn't blow up into anything bigger, but they seem to already be laying the narrative for it to be more.
Because the gain-of-function research is pretty well documented here, we know that this virus is being manipulated in laboratories. I think we have to be wary. And we know in 2020, the FDA approved the CSL human bird flu vaccine, which is a cellular multi-antigen-based vaccine. And they already have an agreement with BARDA, the U.S. military research unit, for a self-amplifying messenger RNA. And I've already mentioned the CEPI vaccine, which is self-amplifying messenger RNA. So I'm telling you right now, there is a massive government investment in bird flu. We should be paying attention to this.
And obviously already the bird flu vaccine, an mRNA-based one, as you just laid out. And I want to play this clip about Operation Warp Speed, which, again, calls into questions how the big pharma community likely violated our rights and violated informed consent. Take a listen.
Operation Warp Speed. This operation was used to cover up the misconcept of the genetic vaccines under the pretext of saving time. An extremely dangerous method was selected, that is, intramuscular injection of viral genes to produce toxic spike proteins directly in human tissues to stimulate immune system. Because this is a completely new method and misconceived method that has never applied before in human history. It is impossible, therefore, for most of doctors to give proper informed consent.
This is a video that's making its rounds on social media, and I noticed you shared it. Why is what he's saying, though we kind of knew it, why is it so important, Dr. McCullough?
Well, as Professor Inoue from Japan, number one, he's an esteemed professor. It's a completely different region of the world, right? So it's somebody who we're not collaborating with. He's not on your show or he's not on, the mainstream media. And he's independently coming to the same conclusion that I did when I published my op-ed in The Hill in August of 2020. I said, listen, this is the genetic code for the lethal part of the virus. There's no ability to turn off this genetic code. It's never been done before in human history. If some people produce too much spike protein, it's going to be lethal. And that's exactly what happened. So this is a cooperation coming from a very esteemed physician in Japan. Japan, a very disciplined medical system over there where doctors don't make statements like this unless they feel very well supported by the literature.
And that is important context to know when looking at that video. Dr. McCullough, again, I think it sounds to me as if the federal government's very invested in possibly pushing an mRNA vaccine for bird flu in humans. So I do think people have to get ready. And I know you all at TWC are working on a packet, right? And I don't know if you can talk about it yet, but if so, because I know the question I'm going to get asked from our viewers or friends and family is, well, what do we do? How do we get ready? Because we've learned we have to get ready ahead of time, right?
Right. Well, let me say, just everybody should, it looks like because of the published studies, everybody should have a little iodine at home. So whether that be Lugol's iodine or povidone iodine, just a drop or two in some salt water as a nasal spray, drop or two in scope or Listerine as a gargle. That's great protection. I think the people working on farms, animal handlers, those working in poultry, in meat processing plants, it's probably a good idea hygienically to do that anyway, because bird flu is not the only pathogen they get exposed to. They get exposed to Clostridial organisms and para-influenza organisms. And then what the wellness company is going to do, they already have the contagion kit, the black contagion kit. We met and have agreed to expand it to include Tamiflu, the most available oral antiviral, which can be given early in influenza. And then because the kits have telemedicine with them, the wellness company doctors can additionally prescribe the critical antibiotics or could even accelerate to more intensive antivirals to treat a case if it develops, because we do want to respect that in the past there have been some fatal cases with bird flu.
Yeah, I mean, one thing we learned from 2020 is that we have to take care of ourselves and we have to be looking down the road and be prepared. Always very informative when you join us, Dr. McCullough. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Up next, Daniel Greenfield of the Horowitz Foundation is here to chat with us about his new book, Domestic Enemies, The Founding Fathers Fight Against the Left, and you won't want to miss it.